Under the dome of Earth's newly constructed stellar arena, the sound of cheers mixed with an undercurrent of awe. Humans, still newcomers to the galactic scene, had invited species from across the stars to participate in a grand tournament. The idea was simple: test skill, athleticism, and even artistry in sports that all could share. Bridging gulfs of biology and culture, spectators filled the multi-tiered stands, and the atmosphere pulsed with reluctant curiosity, turning into eager anticipation. At the center of the field, the opening ceremony began beneath a swirl of holographic banners that flickered between star systems' colors. Earth's navy blue crest gave way to the regal violet stripes of the Alkari Empire, which dissolved into the bright green insignia of the Zotarians. On and on they went, nearly 30 different alien emblems newly recognized in Earth's circle of friendship. The significance of the moment was not lost. For centuries, these species had eyed each other warily, forging alliances, neutral pacts, or abiding by treaties that felt fragile. Now, they were gathered for an event unlike anything before it. Friendly competition. No weapons allowed, no grudges carried, only games. The announcer's voice boomed through the stadium. His name was Ambassador Nellius Green, a tenacious diplomat who had convinced Earth's leaders to back this audacious plan. Welcome, inhabitants of the galaxy. Today marks the start of an experiment in unity. Let our sports be a testament to our shared desire for peace. From the top row, Tamara Falco watched with bright eyes as the human athlete chosen to participate in the opening match. She represented Earth's best chance at proving that humanity belonged among the stars. Whenever she looked around, an anxious twist coiled in her stomach. The Alkari, towering, bird-like creatures with sharp beaks and feathered limbs, seemed to regard the stadium with solemn dignity. Nearby sat the Andalai, whose translucent skin glowed in the stadium's floodlights, their glassy forms trembling with excitement. So many species, each with its own way of life. Each had brought champions to this cosmic meeting. She felt humbled, but determined. The first match was a variant of Earth's classic soccer, but played with magnetically levitating hoops suspended around the field. 7 teams would race across the pitch, using special protective suits for low-gravity leaps as they tried to shoot the luminous ball through the floating rings. The suits were universal, each tailored for body shape, but standardized in function, ensuring no species had an unfair advantage due to biology. The overhead lights dimmed, except for a bright focus on the pitch. Tamara and her co-competitors entered to thunderous applause. On the starting whistle, the ball glowed neon green, launching upward. Tamara sprang after it, her suit's boosters flaring softly, and Alkari forward squawked in surprise as they soared side by side, contending for possession. The Alkari's wings flexed, giving it a surprising agility, but Tamara spun, tapping the ball with the tip of her foot to send it spiraling away. A tall Zaturan with limb joints that bent in unnatural ways soared in, intercepting with a dazzling overhead flip. The crowd roared at the skill. Friendly or not, every champion wanted to prove their planet's mettle. Though the game was fierce, it remained respectful. When a Murothan athlete from a watery planet slid across the pitch, nearly knocking Tamara off balance, they extended a fin-like hand in apology. She responded with a quick, sporting nod. Intermittent bursts of alien calls and human cheers wove together in the stands, creating a uniquely cosmic music of competition. Eventually, Earth's side triumphed by single point, courtesy of a last-second maneuver from Tamara and her Alkari teammate. During this tournament, many events allowed mixed teams from multiple species to foster collaborative victory rather than single-species conquest. As the buzzer sounded, applause thundered. The Alkari turned to Tamara, bowed, and clacked its beak softly, acknowledging they had achieved something greater than a simple win. For the first time, spectators from many corners of the cosmos had enjoyed a shared moment of exhilaration, untainted by suspicion. Over the next few days, the tournament continued with a dizzying array of sports. The watery Murathans hosted an adapted version of a subaquatic relay, constructing a large zero-gravity pool in orbit above Earth's moon. Sparkling ribbons of water floated within the transparent dome, allowing swimmers of various species to race through aquatic tunnels. The crowd viewed from an external skybox, pressing to the large windows that displayed athletes zipping through one ring after another. Each team overcame the challenge of low-gravity water navigation. Even the insectoid Krosk, known for their exoskeleton and breath sacs, found a special diving suit allowing them to join. When a Morotan set the fastest lap time, the cheers from every crowd section all but shattered the observation deck windows. Not all was smooth, however. Friction surfaced, particularly among delegations from worlds once locked in hostility, the warlike Draxians. A tall, broad-shouldered race with muscular tails tended to dismiss smaller species, including humans, as weaker. They had arrived primarily to test their mettle in combat sports, believing this friendly competition silly. On the fifth day, during a break from the aerial archery finals, a Draxian warrior named Karyoff tested Tamar's composure. "You humans think to unify this galaxy with mere games?" Piral's tone was mocking as they crossed paths in the athletes' lounge. "We once conquered 2 star systems with the might of our warriors. Where was your unity then?" Teramos' heart pounded. Draxians were known for their quick anger, and the last thing she wanted was a diplomatic crisis. "In the past, maybe no one believed in peace. But we're here now, right? Everyone got an invitation, even those we feared might never come. That has to mean something," the Draxian snorted, leaning forward aggressively. Yet Tamara noted that he remained just shy of actual conflict. In truth, the peaceful atmosphere seemed to fascinate him, even if he wouldn't say it. Instead, he gave a dismissive wave and turned to leave. "We'll see if your kind can hold up in the contact events. Talk is cheap. Victory is real." Despite their imposing presence, the Draxians played by the rules for the rest of the tournament. Without unity from all, the event would fail, and no one wanted the condemnation that would follow. If this experiment was to succeed, old grudges had to be set aside, at least for a little while. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Ambassador Green worked tirelessly to ease tensions and broker friendships. He was the architect of the entire event, juggling negotiations, schedules, and safety concerns. One evening, after an intense day, he hosted a private dinner for representatives from the Alkari Empire and the Andal Collective. Both species had a history of border disputes over a resource-rich system. By inviting them to share a meal in Earth's newly built Hall of Celestial Harmony, Green hoped to find common ground beyond the games. A star chef prepared cross-species cuisine, from hearty human dishes to the delicate fruit-based diet of the Andal. Intrigued, the Alkari ambassador dared to nibble on a piece of earthfish, seasoning it lightly with an alien spice. Watching carefully, the Andal dignitary hovered a glass of luminous nectar to his nearly invisible lips. Tension lingered between them, but curiosity and appetite drove them to continue sampling the fare. "I'll admit," the Alkari ambassador said, "I once believed our empire better off limiting relations with outsiders, but seeing so many species compete and share fellowship has me rethinking certain assumptions." The Andal official inclined his head. "The sight of my people chanting in the stands alongside yours was enlightening. Perhaps there is room for discussion." Ambassador Green tried not to beam too obviously. "Let that mindset guide you, and we can lay the groundwork for lasting peace. That is, after all, what these games are for." In the second week of the tournament, the crowd saw events that blended alien traditions with human sports. Hover chariot races took place in Mars's upper atmosphere, the red sands swirling below as sleek vehicles from multiple planets wove a high-speed dance among floating checkpoints in Earth's oceans. Aquatic jousting set enormous swimmers, both human-driven submarines and alien beasts, racing through organic obstacle courses. The jockeys from a gaseous planet called Etra soared valiantly, controlling their Cetina 4-like mounts. Even the great star whales from the far reaches of the galaxy participated in a gentle parade segment, mesmerizing watchers with deep, haunting calls that harmonized with the ocean wave. Fans and dignitaries alike flocked to these spectacles, forging an impromptu city of tents and orbital stations around Earth and Mars. Languages merged, and friendships blossomed. On the lunar surface, a marketplace offered souvenirs from each species, shimmering crystals from the Krosk worlds, embroidered Alkari plumage, complex fractal sculptures from the Andal, and tangy spice lures favored by Draxians. The feeling of unity was there, fragile yet enchanting. Then came an unexpected crisis. On the semi-final day, a small group of zealots from the outer Dralch sector, opponents of peace, convinced survival meant conquest, hijacked a shuttle heading to the arena. They threatened to detonate a powerful antimatter device, claiming that only by sabotaging these games could their people remain strong. Panicked transmissions reached the control tower. Security rushed to contain the threat. The entire stadium, indeed the entire planet, faced potential cataclysm should the zealots succeed. Officials from many species coordinated swiftly. Earth security teams worked in tandem with Andal intelligence officers and Draxian tactical experts. Even the Alkari, who possessed unmatched agility in recon flight, dispatched a squad to track the hijacked shuttle's trajectory. The entire stadium held its collective breath. Diplomacy shifted to crisis management, overshadowing the joyous atmosphere. At a secure Earth command center, Tamara watched the incoming transmissions with clenched fists. She was no soldier, just an athlete, but she burned with the need to do something. Nearby stood Karaf, the Draxian who had scorned her earlier. He had just returned from a demonstration martial arts event where Draxians had dominated. Now his eyes were on the flickering screens. He muttered, "Madness. They want to blow up everything in the name of preserving their rule?" Green, pacing nearby, nodded. "We have to show them that unity is not weakness. The camaraderie we've seen might be the galaxy's best chance at ending these cycles of fear." Karaf folded his arms. "Let me help. My people's sensor technology can detect micro-energy signatures. They won't see us coming." There was a new tone in his voice, one of grim determination and perhaps grudging respect for the collaborative spirit he had mocked. Word spread. All around Earth, allied starships and security craft scrambled to form a net. Within hours, the hijacked shuttle was cornered near one of the orbital stations. True to Karaf's word, Draxian sensors pinpointed the sublight drive signature, tracking it across the starry void. No single species acted alone, ensuring that the zealots had nowhere to run. Earth's negotiators reached out, offering a peaceful surrender to avoid bloodshed. The standoff gripped every viewer. If violence erupted, the delicate unity these games had nurtured would be shattered. Yet, in a quiet act of solidarity, the starships formed a blockade with precise caution, refusing to open fire. Instead, they jammed the device's potential triggers. The zealots realized their cause was lost. They were forced to stand down, the remote detonator rendered useless. Relief swept through the entire solar system. Soldiers from 4 different species boarded the shuttle side by side, arresting the hijackers without harm. The celebration that followed was measured, but hopeful. They had proven that by working together, they could stop a threat that might otherwise plunge them back into conflict. With the crisis averted, the games resumed the very next day. The tension from the near disaster made the final events all the more poignant. At last arrived the culminating ceremony, the grand finals of the Radiant Relay, a futuristic gauntlet that combined running, climbing, and puzzle solving in a labyrinth lit by shimmering crystals. Each competitor carried a torch-like baton that had to remain lit by harnessing the labyrinth's energy fields. Dozens of participants from different planets formed teams of 4, each carefully balanced to ensure varied skill set, strength, speed, intellect, and agility. Tamara found herself teamed with Karaf, an Andal named Silwina, and a Krosk athlete called Risik. The labyrinth itself towered above the stadium floor, a patchwork of walls, swirling illusions, and zero-G chambers. Each quadrant presented unique challenges. The team that reached the top with their lit baton first would claim victory. As they dove into the labyrinth, the stadium erupted with cheers. Every breath Tamara took seemed electric with anticipation. The first obstacle forced them to scale crystal shelves, while illusions of swirling cosmic dust obscured their sight. Karov tapped a device on his wrist, scanning the illusions for real ledges. "Over there!" he barked. Together, they bounded across a precarious gap. Silwina used an Andal mental sense to detect hidden transitions in the corridor, guiding them with subtle telepathic direction. Briespeak used sharp insectoid pincers to carve footholds into slippery surfaces. Tamara, for her part, stayed on guard for the energy vents, swirling pockets of radiant pulses that could snuff out their baton if they misstepped. They heard the haunting calls of other teams echoing through the labyrinth. Some curses were distinctly Draxian, others were soft clicks from the Alkari, or rapid chirrups from the Krosk. All were locked in the same battle with the complex environment. Instead of sabotaging each other, the different squads focused on surmounting the labyrinth. Cheaters would be disqualified, and there had been little appetite for underhanded tactics after the near catastrophe with the hijacker. Midway through, Tamara's team reached a zero-G chamber swirling with bright orbs that threatened to dim the baton if touched. She launched off a handhold, gliding cautiously. Silwina's telepathic sense guided them around the orbs. Then Karalf propelled himself too strongly, drifting off course. Briespeak snapped a pincer, catching him by an arm bracer just in time. They smoothly realigned, pushing off toward the next platform. There was no moment to waste. The labyrinth demanded every ounce of focus. At the final wall, they spotted another squad, an Alkari-led team scaling a route just above them. The top was mere meters away. The crowd's roar rumbled overhead, urging both teams onward. With one last push, Tamara extended her hand upward. Karov braced her from below, and Visekraft scrambled to anchor them all with the tips of his pincers. Silwina unleashed her psychic impetus, creating a gravitational ripple that boosted Tamara's final lunge. The baton, still glowing, crossed over the ledge first. The entire stadium erupted in a thunderous wave. Team after team soon arrived, each greeted by cheers. Though Tamara's squad had been fastest, every participant received recognition for even completing the route. Exhausted but triumphant, Tamara collapsed to her knees, nearly breathless from adrenaline. Karalf offered his hand to pull her up. She met his eyes, expecting a stern remark, but instead saw a flicker of unexpected pride. "Your instincts are strong," the warrior said quietly. "I doubted at first, but maybe there is worth in these games after all." Smiling, she placed her hand over his. "We won because we all contributed. That's the point." As the host, Earth offered the final gala in the massive stadium's courtyard, a grand sight beneath the night sky. The spherical lanterns that hovered overhead hummed with soft illumination. Each species gathered in celebratory clusters, savoring delicacies from across the galaxy. Rivalries seemed to melt away into a tapestry of conversation, dance, and reflection on 2 weeks of intense unifying competition. Amid the mingling crowd, Ambassador Green took the stage one last time. Hovering camera drones captured his every word. "We gathered here as strangers, competitors, even erstwhile enemies. Yet we part from these games as allies, friends, and perhaps more." He gestured to the sky. "Look at the cosmos above. We each hail from distant corners, shaped by different suns. But shared experience can unite us in ways war never could." This was only the beginning. An almost reverent hush enveloped the courtyard. Many gazed upward to see the twinkle of stars, reflecting on how small one world could be in the vast tapestry of the universe. Yet maybe, just maybe, that small world had inspired something significant. Quietly, the various delegates began forming pacts, sexual exchange programs, scientific collaborations, mutual defense treaties that specifically excluded the aggression of old. Even the Draxians seemed more open to forging alliances, especially now that they had faced a crisis together and discovered a taste for cooperative victory. As the final fireworks display soared into the heavens, Tamara stood with her teammates. Their bright faces gleamed under the vibrant arcs of color. Verasica fluttered his mandibles in excited chatter, while Silwena hummed a soft Andal tune. Ralph stood contemplated, arms folded, but his usually rigid posture had eased slightly. Tamara felt warmth flood her heart. These beings, so different, were bound now not by conquest or forced treaties, but by camaraderie, forged in the arena. The next morning, the alien delegations began their journeys home. Most carried trophies, medals, or souvenirs, but the real prize was intangible, an emboldened hope that competition could replace conflict, that unity could defy age-old animosities. Capitals across the galaxy prepared welcome ceremonies for their returning athletes, broadcasting stories of sportsmanship and newly discovered respect. Before departing, the Andal representative Silwena visited Earth's presidential complex to propose an official scientific exchange regarding low-gravity flight. The Alkari extended an invitation to human researchers to study their legendary star Ares, high in the pillars of their mountain peaks. The Morothan envoys agreed to share advanced water filtration technology with Earth's ocean protection programs. Little agreements, but bricks laid upon a foundation of trust. Back at the stadium, Tamara found a quiet moment to soak in the now empty seats. She tried to imagine the echoes of roars and applause, to see once more the swirling uniforms, the glowing ball passing overhead, the determined faces of so many species surpassing the boundaries that once separated them. A wave of gratitude washed over her. She murmured, "We did it." Ambassador Green appeared behind her, smiling. His expression was weary but content. "Yes, we did, and no small thanks to you." He sat next to her on a bench, looking at the central field where the floor was still streaked with confetti from the final gala. "It's strange," he continued. "For so long we humans feared that stepping into the galactic arena would mean subjugation or war. Yet here we are, forging peace through something as simple as a game." Tamara couldn't help but laugh softly. It wasn't simple. It took countless negotiations, revised rules, training everyone for fairness, and a few near catastrophes. True enough. But each step we took, we built trust. And trust is the foundation for everything that comes next. They listened to the quiet hum of the stadium's lighting system, which was shining for the cleaning crews. In a few days, official photographers would arrive to capture images of this place, proof of what had been accomplished. Perhaps these images would traverse the galaxy, carrying a narrative of what it looked like when people came together with open hearts. Perhaps, in years to come, more species would join future tournaments. Fewer might come armed with suspicion. Maybe alliances forged here would hold firm, teaching future generations that peace was not only possible, but something to be actively shaped and maintained. "Is it really over?" Tamar asked. Ambassador Green rose, giving her a knowing glance. "In a sense, yes. In a sense, it's only just begun." He patted her shoulder, and she nodded, feeling the weight of new possibilities stretching out before them. That evening, a wave of starships departed Earth's orbit, each carrying stories and memories of the games. Reports flooded media channels across the galaxy, images of humans hugging Draxians, Krosk sharing technology with the Andal, and Murathans celebrating with Alkari in underwater domes. Countless hearts opened. The once fractured alliances began to mend. In the weeks and months that followed, humanity continued to receive messages of gratitude, requests for further exchange, and proposals for joint sports events. A new council formed, aimed at turning the momentum of the tournament into a permanent institution. It would enforce a code of fair competition, sponsor cross-species research initiatives, and help diffuse conflicts before they escalated. At the center of it all was a plaque, set up within the stadium's main atrium. It bore inscriptions in every known language of the participating species, each phrase translating to one universal creed: unity through understanding. Visitors from distant stars would come to see that plaque, to stand in the place where the galaxy's first truly intergalactic sports event was held, and to feel the lingering resonance of cooperation. In that echo, they would find inspiration to keep playing, keep striving, keep believing that in friendly rivalry there was a power to unite even the most disparate of worlds. There would surely be challenges ahead. Politics, resource competition, and age-old grudges wouldn't vanish overnight. Still, a beam of hope now stretched across the cosmos, and that beam wouldn't easily be extinguished. Humanity, once uncertain of its place, had become a beacon of peace, using the simple language of games to communicate across gulfs unimaginable. And so the afterglow of the competition lingered in every conversation and every handshake. 1,000 new alliances flickered into existence, fueled by trust built under the bright lights of that stadium. It was not a final victory, but a resounding first step. In that step lay a promise to keep building, keep reaching, and keep competing not for bloodshed, but for the thrill of testing limits together. Peace, after all, can be forged in the heat of collaboration as much as in the darkness of war. And sometimes, all it takes to spark a galaxy-wide transformation is a field, a ball, and the shared desire to see what wonders might be achieved when enemies become teammates. And when ideas, once unimaginable, become reality, if only for the fleeting moments of chasing a dream together.